All right, call the April 7th Board of Selectboard meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Forum, so I'll take a motion to the board meeting.
Move to open the door. Second.
All those in favor? The 4, 1 absent. All right. First thing we're gonna do is review the public comment, sorry. Every time we do public comment for things that might not be on the agenda tonight, things may not be acted on, but if anyone wants to bring something forward. Okay, I'll start with Melanie, I saw her hand first.
All right, so I'm gonna go sign in up there, buddy. I would like to ask a question of the board. And the question is, when are you folks naming an interim town manager?
Don't know yet. Haven't gotten that far.
Okay, so you folks have known since the middle of March that we were gonna lose the town manager. She called an executive session on March 17th. March 31st, you folks formally accepted her resignation. I pulled from MMA and Maine Law. I'm gonna read this in. I've actually got copies for all of you, so there's a couple copies here for folks. You might not have access to this online. So the key requirements and qualifications for an interim town manager. An interim town manager is appointed by the select board on executive and administrative qualifications with a focus on experience or knowledge of municipal duties. While often requiring municipal experience and budgetary knowledge, they do not need to be a local resident. Key requirements and qualifications, selection criteria. The select board appoints the manager based on their executive and administrative qualifications, focusing on experience and the knowledge of the duties of the office. Ideal candidates typically have municipal experience, strong budget and financial skills, and the ability to manage people, though an interim may focus more on stability than long-term change. The interim manager doesn't have to be a resident of the town or state at the time of appointment. They cannot simultaneously hold the positions of moderator, selectman, assessor, or school committee member. The appointment is often temporary, 3 to 6 months, and intended to maintain operations during the leadership transition. We are a month and a half away from the full year town meeting after changing our fiscal year. Now, I spoke to Mary and I asked if she had put her name in for interim town manager. And for those of you who don't know, Mary has already served as the town's interim town manager. On August 16th of 2022, she was named our interim town manager, which guards between Anthony Wilson's tenure finishing and Lorna Nichols starting. So why you folks have not already offered Mary the interim town manager position is beyond baffling to me. Because if there's one person in this room who's going to get us through to town meeting and beyond, it's the town clerk. She's done it before. She's got decades of experience. So whether folks on the board like her or not is irregardless of whether or not she can do the job. I'm also going to follow up in your packets up there for anybody who needs a couple of these out back here as well. Mary sent an email to the entire board and didn't get a single response. So, and this is the email that she sent, and I did ask Mary's permission before I'm going to read this in. And on March 31st, Mary sent an email that says, "Good morning, all. It has come to my attention that the board is considering hiring an outside interim town manager. And I'll fill that in with the reason that that's in there is that the board was sent a list of interim town manager possibilities for Maine Municipal." So talk goes around. So Mary says that the board is considering hiring an outside interim town manager as recommended by administration. I'm not sure why, as historically prior to this administration, the town clerk has always filled the position as is in the job description. I have also learned that the board has been informed that I am retiring soon, as are others. My plan to retire is a couple of years away from now. My plans may change, and I would stay on longer if there was positive change. If you have questions, please ask me. I would hope the decision to look outside for an interim town manager is not being influenced by subjective judgment or beliefs, as I would find this to be destructive and discriminatory. I am writing this to clarify that I would like to be the interim for as long as it takes to find a new town manager. I would ask that the board take their time regarding this matter, as this town deserves continuity and familiar faces of people they know and can trust. So, once again, this went to everyone on the board, and not one single person responded. I find that incredibly disrespectful. It's not the first time that folks have said they've submitted emails to the board and they get zero response. And I'm not sure why that's happening, but it has got to stop. Because then people feel they're not heard, they're not being listened to. And I think that it's doing a disservice. So I'm going to respectfully request that you folks name Mary Vogel as the interim town manager. That Lorna give her all of the information that she has in her possession, which will enable Mary to get us through the rest of this budget process and get us through town meeting and get us through so that we can take our time finding our next town manager.
Matt?
Hi, so I just wanted to give a quick update on the school board budget process. So the school board has not actually voted. We're planning on doing that at our meeting next Wednesday. But we have talked through a lot of iterations and basically, I think, found a final version. We did not vote last time because 3 board members were not in attendance and we wanted a full board. But anyway, the end result is we're looking at a 3.5% budget increase from last year, which I think is quite reasonable. We approved a new contract for teachers that gives teachers a significant raise. Insurance rates are going up, as you know, and basically that equals 3.5%. We added a couple positions, but that's through attrition. So some people are retiring and we're moving those positions around to create more other positions that we think are more beneficial for the students. And then that's about it. Budget wise, we are taking some money out of our undesignated fund. Also, because that's been ballooning for the last couple of years, so we're gonna take money out of there. End result is about 3.5% increase from the budget. Anybody have any questions on that?
Is student enrollment falling or increasing?
It's not significant one way or the other, honestly.
Thank you.
Good. There's
I'm sorry. How much are you taking out of this undesignated?
We're looking at 800,000.
Fair.
Did you wanna?
You wrapped up with that?
No, there was one other thing I wanted to answer questions first. If there's no more questions, there is one other thing that came up at the meeting. The town of Sydney requested that the school allow the town to use the Bean School for voting in June. Because it was like a large turnout, and Sarah wanted to speak on that.
So, Cheryl, I get, school board member, so that have been, dialogue at the school board for about, I would say 2 months. Interestingly, when the superintendent, we charged the superintendent with, check that out and probably see other, kicked out other, opportunities in the town of Sydney, because they have there's no pond center and other places where they can do this, and
somehow, they have come to reconcile that the best places to do it at the school. They thought about probably dividing the school and do it in the gym while they run the school on the other side of the school. And, but that was not gonna work out. So what's gonna happen is that during that day, June 9th, I think it's a Tuesday, the students of that, campus are gonna have a field trip going to Camp Tracy for the whole day. So obviously, as you will know in the dialogues, the first question that came out, well, who's gonna pay for that? And so the superintendent said that as he sees it, he doesn't know exactly how much it's gonna be yet. As he sees it, it will be kind of a wash altogether, nothing's gonna be charged to the town of Sid. To which, of course, you imagine that Mac and myself, we were just looking at each other like, what's going on here? Didn't sound right. So that's still in the dialogue. We make a motion to approve and secure that the residents of Sydney are gonna have a place to go and vote. And our kids are going, the kids there are gonna go to a secure place for the day, which is Camp Tracy. We have not figured out completely finances, but we, as reps to the school board, we are concerned that this happened without any kind of fiscal responsibility from the town of Sydney. And in a year, there are 3 times where we go to we do a town meeting, we do June and November. And so that's what, we only now, in this time, we'll do only 2 times, but in Sydney, they will do it 3 times in a year. So I would not like that to be a freebie for the whole year. So we want to be kind of dialoguing that forward, but I want to make sure that the select board is aware of that. Word is out there that Sydney is the most hot time to go in, and that new families love to go there. Because the progress are cheap and the mill rate is low. But it's a case for that matter, and at least in my judgment, is that there's no services in Sydney. They don't have a town manager, they don't have a comprehensive plan. There are all things that are happening, so they're gonna have to start thinking about their infrastructure and their services and so on to keep the community going there, not depending on the RSU to pillar them all the way along. So that's all I gotta say. Thank you.
All set there? Yeah. All right, so move on to review and approval of the minutes of March 16th, 2026. In March, we'll start with March 16th. We have a motion on,
I move to approve minutes of March 16. I don't have any.
yes. You're on, all set?
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I ask, was that the one where Carol was on by phone?
Yeah.
So you might just want to put parentheses, because I think it just said that you are unable to vote, but you were unable to vote because you have technical difficulties. So you weren't prohibited from voting because of that, so we might just want to put a disclaimer in there, so.
I'm aware of that, yeah.
Yeah, no, just so that folks seeing the minutes don't think if you participate via Zoom, that you don't still have the ability to vote. So if we just put in there, because of technical difficulties, because we know you were trying.
Also, anything else? No. Not all in favor as amended. 34. I'm abstaining. You can't see your hand or anything, so I guess. Well, that's it. All right, and a motion to review and approval of March 31st, 26 minutes.
Move to approve.
Anything upon those minutes? Those in favor? 3-4.
And I would just like to, may I speak? I would just like to say that any deliberations, any discussion in executive session is confidential. And that often has to do with personnel matters. So I just want to put that on the table.
Dan, is Michael voting? She is online, she is on Zoom.
Yeah.
She can vote, but you have
But I
to
don't
do the
see-
roll call. I don't know.
She's right. Can you see my hand?
Yeah.
Michaelin, can you hear us?
She may not want to vote.
She's surgery.
She had surgery.
I can, but I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to do a vote tonight.
Okay,
So I'm just going to observe tonight if that's okay with you guys.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Rest.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any business? Review town meeting warrant.
So, we've given you, everybody an updated, version of the warrant.
This is the one that's stapled.
Yes, yep, says draft. Mary and Penny and I sat and went through it, this morning, felt really good about it. Made sure there were updates made, some updates made, from the budget committee were, increasing an education line by $1,000 or to $1,000, leaving the town manager's salary flat at 91. The audit line in admin was reduced to 18. We added an article for fuel and utility costs from undesignated. We added a donation line for 17.5 under recreation. And today we had two insurance updates. Penny brought forward an increase of 5,000 on our insurance for workers' comp and an increase of $2,500 on general liability. I think those were the only two.
So those are all incorporated in this.
They are.
They're not
Yep,
divided.
they're right.
Thank you, Chair. I just looked at a couple of things in this budget real quick. It looks like there have been some updates to the budget. And I think it would be helpful if, before we start talking about the warrant, if we were just made aware of whatever changes there are in this April 7th version of the budget.
Do you have all your notes written down? Penny? We did which I think you already saw, but Board of Appeals, we added advertising and education, administration, we added membership. Earned paid leave was added to fire, recreation, admin. What was the other one? No, transfer station, I think. The only other things I think probably that were large, but I think you already saw those as well, were the grub. The town office and the cemetery, which we sent out the
But that was
Quote.
previously in the budget.
right.
But one of the things that I raised the concern after Kathy had raised the concern about some of the salaries didn't seem to be calculated correctly. But
We-
it does appear that those recalculations have been done.
We did go through those today, Anthony. Penny and I went through those.
Did change.
We went through those this morning and made sure they were correct. One had an overtime was included in the wage as well as the overtime line, so that was pulled out and fixed. Yep, we did go through and fix all of those. You'll see those changes.
And the workers, did you say because the April 3rd budget had $35,000 in it, and now it's 40. Is that because the MMA provided us an updated figure?
I don't know,
Yes.
Penny, I know you spoke with them today.
Yeah, it's 45,000, let's say.
It's 45,000.
It's 40,000. It went from 35 to 40.
For workers' comp?
Yeah. That's where,
Yeah, that's the-
what page are we on?
that's
This
the
is,
warrant.
It's Article 17. I believe it went up to 45.
Yeah,
Did it go to 40?
Yes. And that was what we had budgeted in 25.
okay, I'm just looking at the budget. It says $30,000 in the budget. Well, this, looks like it's maybe 58. It's,
This is the one I've got today.
And so maybe we didn't update on that insurance in the actual budget, just on the warrant. There is a updated warrant on the website. Yeah, I uploaded that tonight. The one on the website should have the draft on it. That's how you know it's the current one, Mel.
Yeah. On page 58, line 15, that figure should be 45 on there.
The workers' comp should be 45,000. That got increased through MMA today. And the general liability, Bruce, got increased to 42.5.
42.5.
Mhm.
and I asked one other question. There were a couple articles where I noted that the figures in the articles were different than a iteration of the budget that we were given, and I did not, and maybe I'm just misremembering, I don't remember any suggested changes. So is it appropriate when we talk about those specific articles to raise those questions?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Well, so you're gonna have to go through it one at a time anyway, so.
Okay.
Oh, so what's got it? Ready. Do we need? Article 1's electing a moderator. I don't think we can discuss that tonight. 2, 3, so we'll start with Article 4.
And so we're voting on select board recommendation, budget committee recommendation.
Yeah, but
Yes.
have a recommendation on Article 3.
Keep the balance, if you're gonna get this.
Oh, Article 3.
Article 3 doesn't have any money, but it should have a recommendation from the board of select person.
From the select board.
Right.
All right. So we'll start with that. Article 3. To proceed with the voting by secret ballot on the following question. Shall the town vote to adopt a document entitled Town of Belgrade 2026 Comprehensive Plan Updated date? That's kind of a odd way to say it. January 12th, 2026. A copy of the proposed plan is available from the town clerk. Any questions on? At all?
No,
All right.
we just voted this one.
Anthony?
Was there any discussion or thought from the select board about just putting all of the articles on the floor of town meeting so that if people have questions about the comprehensive plan or the updates to the shoreline zoning ordinance, that can be discussed on the floor? I mean, it's a question I raised last year, and I was told at the time that it was too late in the process to raise the question. So it's been hanging out there for a year. And I think, my personal opinion is, I think all the articles should be available for questions and discussion on the floor, including the ones that is a special request. So that if people have questions about what Spectrum Generations is, it's not our cable provider, right? Then they can learn a little bit about what that money is being used for.
Isn't that what the public meeting is for?
we have a public meeting on the referendums before.
A hearing.
Not
A hearing.
I'm sorry.
That is very,
And we can use, we can do the, that, at that hearing, we don't need, and people should be able to have a privacy of their vote, even in small amounts. If people are very, concerned about their property tax position, and, they don't like to vote against these things in public. That doesn't mean they're going to vote against them, but they should have the option. That's my opinion. And my other opinion is, these people get money from the state, they get it from the feds, and then they come to our town and want more. That's our money they're already getting. And, so I think it's incumbent that we move this.
Well, I want to move back to Article 3, which is comprehensive plan. Does the select board have any preference on the comprehensive plan? It's whether it's secret ballot or on the floor of that meeting.
Doesn't matter, I don't think it's something that there would be much discussion on.
So the last one it was voted on the June referendum. Yeah, in 2014. I mean, you know, I understand what Anthony's saying, and it would have been nice to have had this discussion earlier, only because I've already dumped 2,200 into the rental of the machine because I had to rent it in advance. And that's non-refundable. And they've delivered the machine, and, you know, maybe in moving forward, considering for next year, doing everything on the floor of the town meeting. Fine with me. But if I would have known, I wouldn't have rented the machine out last year. They did not have enough machines for the people that wanted to rent them, so I got it in early anyway.
Bruce,
Tom was ahead of me.
okay, Tom,
Clarification, should the wording on that article say that a copy is of the proposed plan is available on the town website as well as from the town clerk? I assume it's gonna be
I'm assuming
online.
it's on, absolutely.
It is.
Yep, I have no problem with adding that.
What was
I wanted to add on, and on the town website available.
Says available from the town clerk, it's all over. Sorry.
So you
it's
would have,
available here in the town office also for
Okay.
pickup, because we have to have printed copies.
So I mean, you can.
and would you have a, would, if it's available from the town clerk, would that be a printed copy?
It is a printed copy out
Yeah.
here,
Okay.
yeah.
And people
And we will
look at
have
it
them,
here, or can they take it?
they can take it home with them, it's, yeah,
Like a library book?
we're kind of required
you
to.
might offer it at the library as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't want to continue to put more and more spots on this thing, article though.
I know we did have a request come before the board that, everything be on the written ballot. So we did have a fairly, lengthy discussion over that, 2 meetings ago, perhaps. And at that time, we decided that we would look into both of those options through the summer, so that we could maybe do a test vote at, a non-binding vote, possibly in November. But then it needed a lot of information on a lot of people thinking about the ramifications of, do we have all of it written ballot, so people don't have to be here on that Saturday morning. So I think there are 2 sides to that, and we decided that we would, you know, postpone it and take this summer to be educating people and getting more input from a larger base of the population.
Bruce.
So,
Melanie's had her hand up.
So considering that we haven't updated our comprehensive plan since 2014, I think putting that on the floor of town meeting would be appropriate, because the public hearing that the comprehensive plan update committee did, there were not a lot of people that attended. Doesn't mean that people aren't interested. Sometimes they just can't attend, but if they're gonna attend town meeting, and they have questions about the comprehensive plan, then I think that those questions should be answered. Because we all know folks going into the ballot box, they're gonna see that, they're gonna strictly say yes or no, and maybe not even know what the updates are. So I think if that one gets moved to the 4 to 10 meeting, then it's not bad, but.
And the board will have a public hearing for the comprehensive plan prior to their next select board meeting too, April 21st, I think.
Which,
Yeah.
I the same thing, Sally, I think it should be on the floor, just, a lot of people are, don't know what the changes are, don't, so I think it should be on the floor.
Well, and I did look at the comprehensive plan update, and I did have a question, because it was signed by the town manager as the chairperson of the comprehensive plan update committee. But at the time that that was dated, Anthony Wilson had yet to step down as the chair. So I questioned the validity of it, if the person who was the chair at the time is not the person who signed it, because that should actually be whose name is on them. Because he didn't submit his resignation from that committee until 2 weeks later.
But he submitted his resignation as chair in advance of that.
He didn't submit his written resignation as chair until after that, because I went back and looked at the dates. So the date that it was signed, and then we have yet to submit.
Maybe Cog asked if I would sign, they couldn't get a signature, so I said that I would, so that we could move it forward.
thank you.
It's true, all these articles will be the subject of a public hearing. And we've all attended enough public hearings that you can swing a dead cat, not hitting anybody. I mean, they're very sparsely attended.
Back to Article 3.
Okay, I have no problem posting it on the floor, and I think that, Carol's point about, wanting to look to the future of whether we put everything on, there's a movement in town to put everything on the secret ballot. And so by having some of these articles on the secret ballot, I think that that's, a way to sort of continue what we've been doing in recent years, and also, sort of test it out. But if this is a question that people want to be able to discuss it, on the floor, I don't have that strong feeling one way or the other.
I mean, out of the ones I see, that's the one that I don't have a problem with, but I still don't. So we want to make a motion to move that one over to. That particular one over to town meeting.
Okay, I move that we move Article 3. And have that be placed after the current Article 10. Which would, so that it would be on the floor. Well, it doesn't have to be there. It doesn't matter where it is. No, let's start over. I just moved that. I move that we move Article 3 to the floor of town meeting rather than to the secret ballot.
Okay, all those in favor? Now we have recommendations on the article. So all those in favor of the top plan. That's presented. With Tom's update. Right, yeah. All right, so 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a quick question up at the hearing? Are we starting that town meeting on June 9th at 7 AM or 8 AM?
7.
7. Okay.
I expect a heavy turnout, supervitorial, Friday night.
Okay. I was like 13 hours?
No.
I had it.
Article 4, to proceed with voting by secret ballot on the following question: shall the town vote to raise and appropriate for taxation $1,138 for sexual assault crisis and sports center? Request is $1,138. Questions, any comments on that one? That one I would just assume leaves right on
Yes,
secret ballot. So.
yeah, that's fine.
All right, so select board recommendations. Those 4. 4, absent.
Budget committee, those 4. 5-4, opposed, 1 opposed.
Article 5, Proceed with the voting by secret ballot on the following question. Shall the town vote to appropriate $10,000 from the water quality capital account, raise and appropriate from taxation $50,000 for lake protection, to be distributed to the following lake associations in fiscal year 2027 as follows. Belgrade Lakes Association, 24,000. Friends of Messalonsky, 19,650. Seven Lakes Alliance, 12,600. Drop on Salmon Lake Association, $3,750 for a grand total of $60,000. Discussion on that. Select board recommendations. Four.
Budget committee? 5, 4, opposed? 1 opposed, 5, 4, 1 opposed.
On the second page, I didn't realize that there was also some numbers on the back, along with that one.
It was the 10,000, yeah, to
$10,000.
apply, yeah. For quality.
So. We're all still good on it. So Article 6, we need to make sure that those don't fall that way in the town report and stuff. That'll perhaps keep the phase it.
We're taking out Article 3, so it'll be moved on.
Right. Article 6, to proceed with voting by secret ballot on the following question. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate from taxation $1,641 to help fund Spectrum generations for Belgrade residents? Request is $1,641. Questions, comments on that one? Select board recommendations, those 4. 4, 1 absent.
Budget committee, 4. 6, 4.
Article 7. Okay. To proceed with voting by secret ballot on the following question. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate $1,500 to help fund hospice volunteers of Waterville area, which provides service to the residents of Belgrade? Request is $1,500. Discussion on that article. Select board recommendations. All those in favor? 4. 1 absent.
Budget committee, 4. 5, 4, opposed? 1 opposed.
Article 8. Big question on typo before.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay.
I'll fix it. Yep.
To proceed with voting by secret ballot on the following question, shall the town of Belgrade accept from the Friends of the Belgrade Lakes Village the donation of the new parking lot to be called the Town of Belgrade Village Green Parking Lot, located on 0.68 acre parcel of property at 32 Main Street, tax map / lot 25-006. Abutting the southern boundary of the village green and a right of way over the Lakeshore Drive to lot 3. Beach lot, and the right to use of said lot 3. Beach lot. Property more specifically described and intended to include all properties in a deed from GLB LLC to Friends of the Belgrade Village dated January 30th, 24, and recorded in the Kennebec County Register of Deeds in book 14970, page 113, and to further accept a minimum donation of $12,500 to be held and used by the town for the repair and maintenance of the parking lot, or for the construction of future connecting sidewalks. The established cost for facility maintenance and lighting was approximately another type of $1,500 annually.
Yeah, I see it. And where's Kathy? Yeah.
I'm Kathy Atkinson, co-chair of the Friends of Belgrade Lake Village. Can I make a few comments before the questions occur? Would that be appropriate? Thank you. So it's over 2 years ago that we the Friends came before you and asked for your support to build a parking lot for the town. You gave that. And then a year ago this month, we came back to you and said that we would like to expand the project to include paving the handicap lot, screening the porta potties, and enhancing and doing some additional earthwork to make a little larger area for those porta potties to fit in. Again, you supported it in that. Throughout all that time, our goal has been, with every decision that we made, to keep things as low maintenance and build it with its good quality so that this is a project that's going to be around in good condition, low maintenance for years to come. 2 quick examples of that thinking were putting in the LED lights in the parking lot with a remote control, so the lights don't have to be on it all the time, and they can be lowered. Another example is paving the handicap parking lot that's contiguous with the village green, so you don't have to worry about the ongoing maintenance with the handicap parking there with the gravel type of lot. We have worked hard over these years to, I'm going to say, over deliver on the promises that we made to you when we started 2 years ago. So we also intend to deliver on the things that are not quite yet finished. Let me quickly tell you what they are. And these are all related to the fact that the ground is frozen. We're just waiting for the ground to become appropriate for these to be finished. We've got installed fencing in front, a little privacy screen in front of the porta potties. That's what we're talking about for fencing. Put foot lighting, low level foot lighting on the granite steps coming down in that transition between the parking lot and the green. Putting the handicapped parking signs in the handicapped parking lot, so they're not just sticking up there on rubber cones. We've got parking stops, so the rest of them to put in the lined parking spaces up in the lot. And then finally adjusting the gates. All of those projects will be finished before the June 9th vote, with the exception of we'll be putting together the donor recognition plaque, and that would be installed in the parking lot in the fall, hopefully, of 2026. Now, let me address the changes in the warrant number 8, because those of you who would have read your handouts ahead of time would notice that what you're seeing tonight is a little different. Let me tell you why. The original warrant 8 was written with the guidelines mirroring those that were done for previous warrant articles related to the Friends project, specifically the sidewalks and the village green. However, today the attorney changed the wording. He altered it, streamed it down. So that's took out some of the descriptive parts and just left the more specifics in. However, there are a few numbers that are different, and I'm going to explain them. One is that the escrow on the original, let me back up. With the acceptance by the town of this, we will also provide the town with an escrow fund that can be used for the maintenance and any costs associated with the parking lot and or any future sidewalks that the town should decide to connect. Okay. Initially, we put that number in at 15,000, and it's not specifically 15. We're saying a minimum of 15. We were saying, now we're saying a minimum of 12.5 because we have some new costs related to straightening up the gates. So we want to be accurate in there. But you should know that our intention with that escrow fund is when we're saying a minimum of 12.5, that any and all funds that the Friends have at the full final and completion of the project will be added to that escrow fund. In addition to, not in lieu of, in addition to. That's number one. The second, I want to clarify the estimated current value of the project that we would like to give to the town is about approximately $735,000. It will possibly increase as our final bills come into play. And although it's not included in the warrant article, the maintenance, actually it is, it changed again. It says here that the estimate in your Article 8, estimated cost for facility maintenance and lighting. And when we talk about facility maintenance there, we're talking about just the parking lot, just the parking lot itself is 15. Actually, we think that $2,000 is probably more, maybe more needed. We talked to Corey and he said the cost of mulching had gone up, so we increased that to $1,500 and then are putting in $500 for estimate for the electric cost. And the electric costs are only for those 3 lights that are in the parking lot, which are LED lights, which are on timers, which are going to be used only maybe 3, 4, 5 months of the year, whatever. So we come to you now at the happy to be here that is the end of the project after these years, and just proud that we were able as a group of volunteers, 100% volunteers, to bring to the town something that was identified in the current existing town plan, comprehensive plan of the need for safer parking, that we were able to deliver that. And in addition, that it's superposition, right, where it ended up being in synergy with Village Green. And then maybe one thing that you've noticed, certainly a lot of people have commented on, is that the view of the village from that parking lot is the best one in town, and who knew? So, with that, I try my best to answer any questions for you.
So this number at the bottom where it says 1,500 annually, that was changing.
2,000, please.
Okay.
And that's probably pretty generous, because putting in $500 for the electricity, I handed out a little update that explained it. I tried to give it to everybody. I have a couple more if I missed any. You know, let's talk about the numbers on the electric record. Last year, my friends were still paying for the lighting on the street. The bill from CMP for a year was $1,700 something, but that paid for the 37 lights that go up and down Main Street in the village that are on, 24/7, 365 days a year. So to estimate, we try to be very generous, not holding back and saying, okay, maybe 500. But really, as I said before, the 3 lights in the parking lot, the low-level lights coming down the walkway, on dimmers, on timers, off most of the year. 500's a pretty healthy number there.
Thank you. Bruce?
So I don't have it, any problem with the town accepting this or not. My problem is we don't have anything from facility saying what their estimated cost is gonna be. All we got is what's here. I asked this question right back in the beginning of when we started the budget process on if we was accepting the parking lot, we had a budget for maintenance, if we got gardens that gotta be weeded, gotta be bark mulch. Yeah, we haven't even seen it.
Yeah, Corey gave this to me this afternoon. It's the only one he could grab. It's just one estimate. It's an annual cost of $8,500.
I guess that's the part I'm talking about. we haven't, as a budget committee, have not seen any figures or amounts to maintain that, what's gonna cost the facility to take care of that. And that's a big part that, I don't, like I said, I don't have a problem accepting it, but we need to be upfront to all the taxpayers in town. How much it's gonna cost annually to take care of that parking lot?
Can I just remind one thing, when we, with the parking lot, they're just the four corners. The rest of the greenery and everything is in the village green. What we're talking about are those four corners, when you come in either entrance to the right and to the left. Those small areas are the ones that would be affected by this estimate that we talked to Corey about. And he, before it was 1,000, he said, well, you know, the mulch has gone up, so let's make it 1,500. So.
Just another suggestion for anyone who's been reviewing the capital projects and reserve accounts would be to just put an expiration date on the reserve account for the donation of, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you're saying, Tom.
I want to thank you for the generous donation, but if you look at the town's reserve accounts, there are all sorts of miscellaneous amounts that people either don't know what they are or they've been sitting around for 10 years. So in order to prevent any future confusion, it would be easy at this point to say essentially that the amount donated will expire after 10 years or some reasonable time frame, or if used first, essentially, just so that the number doesn't hang around forever.
Okay, thank you.
So the 8,500 that you had estimated, does that include additional liability insurance and taking care of the porta potties every year?
No, no. No, this is just from Goldsmith Landscaping. Spring cleanup, mulch application, lower beds. It's basically, the mulching, trimming. It's not anything to do with, porta potties or anything like that.
Cars, somebody falls down or, you know, don't get its plow dry, and I'm just wondering if 8,500 actually covers everything that you might come up against. It's like, I don't know what it costs to do, what does it cost to take care of the porta potties and some of them?
Those are town things, and they're down on the.
That's in the budget someplace else.
Yeah.
But the liability, then I'm just asking that the liability.
Sounds like that estimate includes doing landscaping down in Village Green also. So it sounds like. what
Yeah,
you
it's
just said.
not part of the program.
Right.
Right, so. What we need to know is what the additional cost is by adding the parking lot.
Right. Which I think, Kathy, you spoke with Corey and he said around 2,000.
No, well, actually.
15.
Oh, sorry,
1,500.
I apologize,
Would
15.
be for weed whacking, you know, these are not, this is not. Coastal, our beautiful coastal botanic gardens, you know, these are natural plants, you know, natural environment. Four corners, weed whacking, mulch. And that was the 1,500, and the total 2,000 came by adding in the 500 for the electricity.
So looking at the estimate that I've got here. It looks like $3,500 because they've got $1,500 to do the spring cleanup, the parking lot and the beds. And then $2,000 to do mulch application, parking lot, beds. So that means $3,500.
Yeah, he said it was an annual, the 8,500.
Right, but that's. Those two lines are what we're talking about there on this new parking lot. The other two. Are $2,000 for spring cleanup lower beds, which is part of the village green and existing.
Right.
And $3,000 is mulching application of lower beds, which is the existing village green.
Right.
So what we're talking is this number right here, that we get down to $2,000. According to this estimate, is now $3,500. Plus the lots. So it'll be 4,000.
Dan, I know Corey couldn't be on tonight, so I can clarify, I actually met with Corey and this Goldsmiths. So that estimate is for both the embankment and the corners that you're speaking about. That was the 8,500, that includes remulching everything after the winter, it does not include snow plowing of the parking lot. We have 2 more companies that are coming to give estimates before the end of the week, but you're correct that it's all 4 corners and the embankment. The porta potties that you're talking about are already covered under Parks and Recreation. So that's been taken care of. So the amount total from Goldsmiths was $8,500, and that included spring and any fall, and then maintaining through the summer.
Annual, right?
Yeah.
Annual.
And it's the whole thing, everything to do with that.
Yeah.
Including the village green, the lower parking lot where the handicapped is and everything else.
Correct. But Corey's guys would still be doing all the mowing of the village.
So right now, though, just the way they've got it broken down, is they have upper for parking lot and they have lower. So we've got $3,500 here for the new part of the upper, according to this estimate.
Correct, we're getting several other.
We have 2 others.
But what I'm saying is right now, we've only got $2,000 in this budget. And by the time you add the lights in the $3,500, that should be $4,000 instead of $2,000. Sarah,
I just wanna ask Evan. She talked about a 12.5 number. What's this 12.5 number about? 12.5, it was 12,500.
Oh, so sorry, Sarah. The Friends is going to give to the town money, $12,500 as a minimum, okay? To be held in an escrow account, which would be used for maintenance of the parking lot. Any repairs, maintenance of the parking lot project. And that's what that number is. And then what I was saying in addition was that and any other monies that we have when the project is completely finished would be added to it in addition. We will give at least 12,500. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear.
No, that's okay.
And while I heard the word snow plowing, and I would think, people would think, oh, snow plowing maintenance. The Friends close the parking lot during the winter. That's the reason for the gates. There would be no snow plow. So I'm gonna disabuse that. There would be no snow plowing if the town chooses to use the gates and keep the parking lot closed. Again, that was one of the reasons for putting the gates in, so that it would give the town total control over how and when the parking lot would be used, and to avoid the cost and the wear and tear of the snow plowing during the winter. Thank you.
Just so, yes, when I say reference snow plowing, it's not for the whole winter, but it does need to say plow through holidays, so that was one of the recommendations. So depending on snowfall, I know that Corey had put some thought into what that would cost for them to plow through that first weekend in December of holiday stroll. And then whatever the board decides as far as closing it for the remainder.
Yeah, that's, that would be lovely if the town chooses to do that.
Bruce and then Tom.
So we started taking care of maintaining the sidewalk, the one that's maintenance. If we're gonna maintain the sidewalks, we're gonna maintenance. There's no sense doing the sidewalks. We don't have parking lot open for people, park vehicles to walk the sidewalks and just maintain.
Just a clarification, I don't know if the terminology is, we're all on the same page. I'm not sure whether the 12,500 is going to a town reserve or whether it's going to Bar Harbor Trust to be treated as escrow, essentially with a restricted.
I look at it, think it's almost like a perpetual care type fund. And then you use it until it's gone and then it's gonna go away. So.
That argues to me that it sounds more like the Bar Harbor Trust accounts.
Wherever those are kept.
Do we need to change the 20,000 in the Article 8 to be 12.5? It says 20,000, and I'm hearing 12.5. On the most
It
updated-
says 12.5.
It's 12.5 on the updated.
Oh, look at the old one, okay, thank you.
Anyway, back to that annual cost. What do we want to put in there for a number?
4,000.
Right now, we're at least $4,000.
And, it might be worth giving Corey just a quick call. He said he was gonna be here tonight, if we have a question. Because today he gave me 1,500.
Right, he won't, if they're getting more estimates, so he won't have them.
He did just text me back. And he said that's correct, we have two other estimates. The estimate I gave is for an annual cost.
But we don't have the other two yet.
The
No.
other two are gonna be the annual cost. So basically, right now,
Two others to
the only number that we've got is basically $4,000. We either use that or we don't work, this article gets pushed off and we decide to put this in it. I think they need this one right away, don't you?
If it's
If
a
it's not
super
super
ballot,
ballot.
yeah, I do need it, yeah.
I'm calling him.
Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead and call.
Okay, so they have it in.
Well, while she's doing that, I think there needs to be another line added to that. And at the end, it says, and allow the installation of the donation recognition plaque at a future date after the town accepts the donations. Because technically, once we accept the donation, it's ours.
Yeah.
And the town can decide whether that plaque goes up.
That's a good catch.
So, what do you guys think about adding that? Other lines that they can allow them to put their plaque up. At piece of date.
Do you wanna say that to me again?
Yeah, I think when we did the village training, there was an agreement with the select board, but it wasn't on the article. So
I mean, it isn't hard.
the original, it does not hurt to add it, that there will be
Safe.
an additional plaque.
Yeah. It says, and allow the installation of the donation recognition plaque at a future date after the town accepts the donation. That way, there's no question that the town says it's okay to do.
After the town accepts.
The donation. Just I want to make sure that put that plaque up from the town, so it's.
Yeah.
So you can't do it. No, wait. Just doesn't matter.
So the other thing, if you guys have to decide if you're gonna do winter maintenance on that top one, because you'll have to have someone to that, so.
I'm sorry, was I didn't hear what you said?
Also, you're gonna have to decide if you guys are gonna do winter maintenance on that parking lot, if so, you're gonna have to add some dollar figure in for that, like.
Sarah, go ahead.
Yeah, we did winter maintenance this winter.
If it's plowed.
I think the only thing we did was plowing it for.
The holiday
for
stroll.
Closed up to the.
So Corey says if you leave it at 2,000, it won't even come close to covering the bark mulch. So you would have to go to a minimum of 4,000, but that would not include the entirety of the village green because he didn't budget for that.
We can't put that in the rest of the village green.
So he said at the minimum, that needs to go to 4,000.
And that doesn't include the electric.
That would include the electricity for the parking lot.
Plus $3,500.
Yeah.
Plus $500.
But he said was set at a minimum of we need to go to 4.
Changing that number to 4,000.
That's at least, I mean, you gotta figure if you guys, you're gonna plow, you probably want to take it to 55.
I think for the first year, plowing through Christmas stroll was plenty. There's a lot of wear and tear from plowing.
I mean, the same thing with sidewalks. You
And there's
can walk
plenty-
right there on.
I know, but there's plenty of street parking from, December through April.
Same crap.
Parks the street.
The park on the street, there's no problem with street parking.
And if you thought you could just plow the lower part of it.
That'd be.
Now that it's paved.
Yeah, that'd be good.
But,
All right, so we're gonna go to 4,000.
Yes. So
So let's change that to 4,000.
I think that's high, but that.
Well, it isn't if we end up with that estimate right there. If the other ones come in last, great.
Yeah.
All right, so is there anything else? All right, select board recommendations, all those in favor? 4-4, absent.
Budget committee, all those in favor? 5 for it. And opposed? 1 opposed.
Right.
Question. I'm not opposed to proceeding by secret ballot, I'm just opposed to the money, is that the way with the voting here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Article 9, to proceed with voting by secret ballot on the following question. Shall the town enact amendments to the shoreline zoning ordinance? Amendments are on file at the clerk's office. We're gonna do the same thing here.
Yeah, we'll do.
We'll add the same language.
And it looks like we're missing the voting piece,
Yeah.
so.
That may have gotten cut off too.
Yeah, it's not on the next page, so just make sure that. All right, any discussion? All right. Select board recommendations, those of, those 4. 4-4. 1 absent. Money involved, so that's just us. Article 10. Public town authorizes the board of select persons to enter in a cooperative agreement with the Illinois Department of Transportation for the installation, maintenance, and operation of independent systems to remedy the salt contaminated properties generally bound but not limited to Route 27, Route 135, Routes 8 and 11. For the approximate municipal cost share, 500, yes, 505 minutes. Can't read it.
570.
$70,089.06. Such terms and conditions of the final agreement subject to review and approval by the board, and to raise and appropriate a payment.
Payment 1.
1 of 10, amount of $57,008.91. Yeah. It's an awful one. Any questions?
I got a question, how come that one doesn't say to proceed with voting by secret ballot on the following question, like, oh, it is it?
Yeah, probably.
It should, that came from Phil.
Yeah, so need to add that. Explain it.
We can add that right on.
No, that would Anthony.
So I sent 3 options to avoid, raising another $57,000 in new taxes for funding this. I'm getting the board's thoughts on those, 3 options. I'd be happy to explain them again, if that would be helpful.
When is the second payment due on this?
Once the agreement is signed, the first payment will be due. The second payment will be invoiced in July.
In July of 26 or
Yes.
July of 27?
6.
So do we have in the budget 2 payments?
No, we have 1, and we spoke about taking the first payment out of the
Right.
well contamination.
No. And why can't we take more?
Yeah. Thank you.
Well,
The board needs to decide that.
But the well contamination remediation fund of $385,000 and change could be used for this purpose. It's a special revenue account. So does that put different conditions on it than?
It was set up for the purpose of the saltwater contamination.
So
it fits.
Yeah, that was gonna be my suggestion, because I was like, we literally set that account up for this, so why would we raise and appropriate instead of just appropriate from that account? And if we're gonna have two payments coming up, I think this article should reflect the fact that there's two payments. And that both payments are going to come out of that.
Actually, before we move on, why don't you go ahead, so you get your stuff in the public record, Anthony?
So if you've got $385,000, your total liability is $570,000. I think we should be considering draining that account unless there's some compelling reason not to. Take the balance out of the undesignated fund, assuming that it's healthy enough to do that. Send the whole $570,000 to the DOT. Done, no new taxes. You know, I don't assume that we know what the health of the undesignated fund is at this moment, but that's another source. If it is super healthy, you might be able to take the, you know, the majority out of that. Or the fact that it is a mere 57,000, and I agree with Melanie, so if it sounds like the first payment will be made in this fiscal year or in this 6-month budget. So this should actually be payment 2 of 10. But you can pay that $57,000 out of the undesignated funds. And again, as you all know, I'm an opponent of funding an ongoing operating expense with a one-time revenue source, which the undesignated fund is. But since this does have a sunset of 10 years, I think that would be appropriate, and given the fact that the budget has historically ended in the black by a very healthy margin, I don't think that there is any danger in doing that. I don't think that there's any reason to be raising another $57,000 in taxes to fund this liability.
Yeah, I think you will. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm concerned by the word approximate municipal cost share. I'm wondering if someone has legally evaluated or evaluated in some way, whether or not this 570,000 is actually your final number and then you're done with this deal, or whether there's some, it says approximate, so there must be something
More.
that isn't quite spelled out in the agreement that could be the future liability for the town, and I don't know what that is. But
Yeah.
if I thought that we could say that to the DOT, you can give me $570,000 and we're gonna be done with this, and you sign off and say we're out. I would think this would be great, but that approximate number needs me to be, we're gonna pay the 570 and then there's some other unknown amount.
Yeah, it has to do with future claims, unknown future claims, that's
By
why.
the same,
Yeah,
let's see, by the same 12 homeowners or however many homeowners it is.
The salt plume could travel.
So if we're responsible for a set amount now, and we know what it is, why can't we kick the rest to the DOT and wash our hands of it through negotiations? That's impossible.
No, we have a cost sharing agreement with them.
That's
We
all
have-
inside.
No, we're actually, that's next on the agenda. We were hoping
Yeah, so-
to
so-
discuss that tonight, because there's some, we had to. Is it okay? I'm sorry. Is it okay? But
Let's just not get too much into it.
yeah.
There are two signed agreements,
Yeah,
2011.
there are a couple signed
And
agreements.
so there's 2 signed agreements that those didn't cap our costs either.
No, we have moved from the original agreements had to do with a common water source, a water supply, a well that would service that area. So over the time that it's taken for this to happen, the DOT has decided that it's more efficient and effective to put in individual remediation systems in each facility, in each dwelling, in each house. So that's why it's independent systems. And that's why we need to have a new contract, because the old contract specified a common water source.
Okay,
And
maybe
and-
not.
and the way state law is, we're responsible for X part of it, and it doesn't matter. If it moves, if it expands, we're gonna be responsible for it. We can't opt out.
So under state law, no matter what, this approximate number is just gonna hang over our head forever.
Until the sunset, probably.
When's the sunset?
10
10 years. Years. Yeah, so. All right.
Carol has them.
Carol,
Don't we also have, once they put these new systems in, we're going to be replacing dishwashers
It's
and
appliances.
we have a lot of appliances that have been salt contaminated, so once we get the new system in, we have exposure there. That's an unknown amount, we don't know how much, but probably in most of those properties, we'll be replacing appliances. And we'll be sharing that cost equally with the state. So there's some future unknown this field. Unknown
Future unknowns.
So I would say, I mean, I don't have a problem with the first couple of payments coming out of that well contamination, but we need to leave money in there for these future claims that we know some of them we're gonna have.
From the numbers.
I have a suggestion, and it's related to the past concerns I've stated. But rather than a cooperative agreement, I would suggest that you have a contract. And that the contract specify a hard end date, a maximum total dollar exposure. It doesn't have to be the 570,000 here. But I think it's reasonable if the state feels confident in their estimates, that they could give you a number like not to exceed $1 million or some figure like that. And so basically, I think you can, and reading the comments from the town attorney, it sounds like he agreed that whatever the final document is, can be basically nailed down much tighter than it is today. And the other thing that as I recall, wasn't in there was a right of offset. So essentially, you're obligated to make the $57,000 payments every year. But the money that goes for the appliances or filters or whatever, how are you going to recover that? Basically, you have no mechanism to recover it. You could, if you have a right of offset, you could say, we owe you $57,000 and we paid $10,000 for appliances. Our share is 5,000, your share is 5, etc.
That's what we do right now. That's what we're doing right now.
You've actually recovered money.
That's what we're splitting the cost.
Splitting it 50-50.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I heard that when I was on the budget committee and when we were paying for appliances. And I asked, is there a receivable on the books? And I was told no.
Yeah, we're only paying half of it.
We're only paying half.
And all of it.
Well, are you sure the billing's going out there?
It's only half. We're only paying half.
Well, I know the agreement says half, but is anybody actually transacting the money?
The state is sending bills after they get them from, I know, Bruce, you just submitted something, didn't you?
Yeah, I see you guys get several bills coming from
Yeah,
the triangle here in the next few weeks. You get several bills coming, so.
so they get split.
So do those bills go to the town or they go to the state?
I thought they went,
Some
thought they
of
went to the state.
Some of the homeowners present it to DOT, some of the homeowners present it to the town office. It goes either way, I know like the next door property here, they're dealing with DOT. Up on the hill, they deal with the town office, so it's whoever they deal with, each homeowner deals with, is where the bill goes.
And how, I think what Carlos said, how are we just paying half of that bill and then submitting it to state, letting them take up the other half?
One half, yes. They send us a bill for the half,
They sending us a bill
for the
half.
50%.
We send them a bill.
How are we paying the ones that we're sending to them? Are we paying the whole thing and then billing it?
The only ones I've seen are them sending us a bill for 50% of what has been submitted.
Okay. So probably what we gotta do is the bills that come to us, we probably ought to forward them to the state
Yes.
and let them deal with it, and then they can bill us for the half. Rather than doing it both ways. Sarah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanna reinforce that, because I ignore that bill comes here, we pay half and this into the state. But that's much better protocol with every bill that comes, you send it to the state first, have the state first, pay their half, and then they can kick it back here.
That was a little easier.
Wonderful, yeah, yeah, thank you.
I'm just curious what the negotiation process was for this. Is this like the contract that they presented to us? Have you gone back and forth on the terms? Like, did we consult with the attorney and push back at all? Just so that we understand what's gone into reading this.
This has been going on for a while.
This iteration of the contract, is this like a negotiated final draft? Is this what they presented us?
As I said earlier, tonight is the first opportunity that we had as a board to discuss this current contract. So if we finish with the budget, then we'll finish with it, then we'll discuss this. If we can't get to this, we have to work out the contract before we can have it on the warrant, right? So if we can't.
Yeah,
finish
that
the
would have,
contract,
that would
then
have
this
to be
would have
moved to the
then it
floor.
would have to go to the floor if
Yep.
we can't finish the contract tonight.
Melanie?
So the same problem that I've had with this cooperative agreement since 2011. So 2011 was where we first identified some of the ones. And what originally happened was that in years past, the town and DOT had a shared salt pile that was covered by a giant top. Now, gazillion years later, bad plan, the salt got down into the bedrock. And we've got an aquifer and all that runs underneath it, so we built the sand and salt shed. To put the sand and salt back in under pump. So between 2011 and 2018 was the original agreement with the state, we were on a 50-50 split. 2018 more well issues started arising further down onto the depot road, 135. So the triangle got bigger. So 2018, the state came back to us and renegotiated, reminding us that we're still on the hook for 50-50 because that was the original agreement. So it's been negotiated a couple of different times. But the one sticking point that I have is that this well contamination is from the salt that we put down on the roads. The state tells us how we're going to do it, but the state straight up refuses to not make that triangle salt priority. So by leaving us open-ended with 10 years beyond the last claim, and originally in 2018, when they brought this to us, they wanted 5 years. And we said, hang on a second, because 5 years was not long enough, because then we were gonna be on the hook 100% after 5 years. So the state continues to just put all winter long straight salt on that whole area, but continues to try to put salve on the wound and say, oh, no, that's not gonna cause any more well contamination. How can it not? So we've agreed to be liable for 50%, but the state has refused to back off on the amount of salt that they put in that area. It is not a brine solution. I have been behind the DOT trucks that are just pouring straight salt sometimes, which we all know just bounces and scatters. Ends up on the side of the road, it's going late, washing down onto the properties, washing back into the lake eventually. So we never seem to be able to get them to recognize the fact that they're continuing to put the town of Belgrade in a liable situation that we should not remain being liable for. Because we put up a sand and salt shed. That was on our dime, that was not on the state's dime. They get the sand and salt from there. A couple of years ago, when they came to us complaining about this, there were actual photographs taken where it was actually DOT who was leaving their facility down beyond our sand and salt shed and pouring liquid brine all the way up on the way out. And this was after they'd come to us for a meeting and told us that 1 teaspoon of salt ruins 5 gallons of water. And there were several teaspoons dumped on that stretch. So we got from them, we brought that to their attention. Oops, we're sorry, we'll try it for it not to happen again. But at some point, we keep doing these cooperative agreements that are 50-50, but the town is not 50% of the culprit anymore. We've taken the steps to minimize our liability, yet we're still on the hook 50-50. So. I don't love it. I don't love that we've done our part and we're continuing to pay, but the state is not doing their part.
Related to that, another main government department, the Maine Department of Environmental Protection uses 500 feet within a salt shed is the area subject to contamination from a salt shed. So, obviously the Maine DOT interpretation is quite generous in favor of the Maine DOT and at the expense of Belgrade.
I'm just curious if we don't sign this contract, what happens?
I'm looking at this article. Shall the town authorize the board to enter into a cooperative agreement? It doesn't say. It says with an approximate municipal cost share. It doesn't say that we have to have a signed agreement, that we have to have a finalized agreement going into. So it just authorizes us to enter into an agreement. So. Such terms and conditions of the final agreement subject to review and approval by the board.
Right, it doesn't have to be the one that you
It
have.
doesn't have to be
That.
exactly word for word what's in these contracts. So I think that we can go ahead and do this.
Does the agreement say anything, following the narrative of, Mrs. Jewel here? Does the contract have anything stipulating that we're in 10 years contract and once the 10 years up, the DOT is on the hook for this, on themselves that, rather than putting the liability on the town, can the liability lies on the DOT?
I think, if I recall, I think it continues to be 50% for future claims.
Right. I would assume you could have your attorney negotiate. I mean, Phil said he could negotiate. He said it would take a lot of time and a lot of money.
Just know, we haven't, as a board, we haven't looked at this. We haven't discussed this contract.
But I guess my point is that if the culprit is the DOT, we cannot keep carrying them all.
Well, I mean, the culprit till now has been, the culprit for the identified properties has been both DOT and the town. Because we both have.
So how we can line up our kids so we are out of that as a board?
I'm going to stop with this right now because we're way off. That has to do with the contract at a later date. We just need to get back to this article.
So what this article does, it just authorizes the board to enter into an agreement.
Right. The only thing we can change here tonight is the difference, the payment where it's coming from.
Raise and appropriate.
So I'm actually in favor of at least the $257,000 payments to at least come out of that water quality for this year. And then you could look at next year when the payments come and due, whether we have more money in the water quality, or if we have to pull it out of the designated fund.
It's not water quality, it's this.
Well
the
contamination. Two payments, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think you should pull it out of there rather than raising more money.
I think 1 and 2 could come out.
Yeah.
And then.
Next year, you can see what's gonna get.
You get a total amount 114.
114, 16, 99, 180.
From the well contamination.
182.
Or you certain you're not gonna make payment 1 in this current 6-month budget?
We don't make it until after we sign the
I know,
contract.
you could sign it, assuming that you approve it tonight, you could sign it tomorrow.
When is the first payment due?
Once
it's signed.
Or does this warrant article have to go through first before you can sign? June 9th.
I think
You have to have approval.
Say we can't sign it.
June 9th.
Right.
Yeah,
So.
right.
So it's $114,017.82 for payments 1 and 2.
But I think what Anthony is saying is.
Oh, I'm
it's just
sorry.
be one payment if we sign, you're saying if we sign it in June.
No, I think Dan is absolutely right, you're right. Cause I can't sign it until the voters authorize you.
Right. So. Alright, so, yeah,
I'm just wondering what the rush is to get this on the June warrant list when you have, the board hasn't even read the contract yet. Can it just go off now and come along for the next one when you've had a chance to review it?
this isn't telling us we're signing it. This is giving us the authorization.
Well,
It could take us months to go back and forth with the
We're
lawyers.
asking us to vote to allow you to sign something you haven't reviewed yet. I guess I'm wondering what the rush is. Why you guys can't take more time to deliberate and make sure your attorney is sure this is as tight as it can be. And there aren't there isn't any way to limit the liability that perhaps is not your liability.
We can,
Before you sign this agreement, review it and sign it, it's an agreement. You don't need, it just seems premature to ask the voters to give you the approval to sign something you haven't read yet. That's my opinion.
Well, go ahead.
okay, it's authorizing us to enter into an agreement with DOT. With an approximate cost share, such terms and conditions of the final agreement subject to review and approval by the board. So if it's not approved in June, the next opportunity to have it approved would be in November. And, you know, once we start looking at this contract, I mean, it's not gonna take us months to do this and months to negotiate. You know, if we can, I think it's good to just go ahead.
I still object to the terminology of a cooperative agreement. I think if you put a contract that is much more legalistic, that it's a binding agreement. This is your third agreement in 15 years. If the agreement's non-binding, anybody can break it at any time and walk away. And that's what's happened with the previous two agreements.
Because the last time we were given the affirmative agreements, they had come to several meetings with the board. And the only possible thing that we could do was throw this out and out. And that these osmosis systems were not the way to go. This was the worst possible scenario. A DOT kept dragging their feet. And when their approximated cost reached a certain point, they had stated that if cost kept going up, then they would probably renege on that agreement. So they did, so they were now not doing well, and now we're back to the reverse osmosis system.
Well, actually, they didn't bring that up. Well, they came to us and gave us the information on its osmosis systems and gave us the choice. We could have gone forward with the water system.
So the way this reads as a taxpayer, this reads like you've decided because it has particular payments articulated in it and a particular type of agreement. So to me, this reads like you feel like this contract is what we're going with. Is there a way to give the board the authorization they need to address this issue while leaving open the possibility of negotiating a contract or something else with more clear terms? I mean, if this is their opening offer, I have concerns about accepting it, just because any contract I negotiate, my opening offer is usually my dream, not what I think I'll end up at. So I'm wondering if we can modify this so that it could be a contract, a cooperative agreement, you know, with an estimated maximum cost of this amount and a maximum cost to be paid this amount per fiscal year. But to give the select board the opportunity to truly see if this is the best contract we can get, or if we can hire an expert to help us understand the limits of our liability and push back more.
So we could say to appropriate payments. 1 and 2 in the approximate amount of the 57,000. Or
114,000.
So I would go with 57, that's a little specific, but you know, not to exceed 60,000, not to exceed 57,000. Just to give yourselves the opportunity to have time with this contract.
Or not give a dollar amount, appropriate payments
1 in
You
10.
have to give it, you have to give a dollar amount.
Oh, yeah, we have to have it done.
I think you're stuck with that 114,000.
Well, is the. I probably can answer my own question. Is the state calling this a cooperative agreement?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Cooperative.
we would have to
agreement.
go back to FDCD and change that.
Yeah,
That's kind of that.
amended and restated cooperative agreement regarding a partnership initiative between the parties to mitigate the groundwater chloride.
At one point, we were building a whole water system. They were gonna spend a couple $1 million and then we got all the expenses on it. In perpetuity. Unknown. Thank God it got so expensive that they backed off and this is.
Anthony has his hand up.
I would just ask the voters for the authorization to enter into the agreement and then leave for November, whatever the price tag is.
Yeah.
I'm thinking for a second, but yeah, go ahead.
So this one right now is intended to be on the secret ballot.
Mhm.
Why does it have to be on the secret ballot?
It doesn't.
If it weren't, now, my understanding is that the secret ballot articles need to be ironed out ASAP because the ballots need to be printed. Right, so that would at least give time. If it were moved out of the secret ballot and into the town meeting. Articles, then it would give time to work out some more of this information. Cause.
You still have to print the warrant in the time of.
Right, but
Which
if
happened with that.
numbers change, that can come up.
We've got a
at the
couple of
town
weeks.
meeting.
Yeah. Couple of weeks, because it takes them a period of time for the printing out in town reports.
By the
And
time
then
I
get
get
them-
you all for an article. For like you to say, oh, but the number we found out is actually $60,000, not $55,000.
Reduce it on the floor.
Yeah, we couldn't go up on the floor though. That's the
Okay,
problem.
then
Reduce
put
it,
it
you can't
higher and
increase
then
it.
you can reduce.
And the final figures don't have to be presented until 1 week in advance, right? I mean, we have the opportunity to change the numbers in the articles until
Well,
7
town,
days
the
before.
town report's still gonna be printed.
It's
I know,
still gonna be.
I know the town report is still gonna be printed, but that. You know,
can still
I
change
just-
it's not change the warrant.
The only legal copy of the warrant is the one that gets posted 7 days
Which may
prior.
be different than the one that ends up in
Correct.
Right.
people's.
MMA will
town
tell you
reports.
that. Yeah.
Confusing, but
You should do that.
No, yeah, I don't think you should do it either, it's not good practice.
A couple of years ago. We did that 3 years ago, and I sat up on that board and I requested that any numbers that were different that were printed in the town report. That we utilize the town newsletter, we put a full page in there, we asked people to please put this in the town report because people do keep their pen. And we use them in meetings to go back and check what numbers were from years prior. So if the numbers of the town report are not gonna reflect the actual numbers, then the town needs to do their due diligence. Giving the citizens a copy of what numbers are different so that they can put them in their town report. An addendum. And, yep, do an addendum to it. And I just, sorry, that's it. I just started talking.
so
Do we wanna leave this secret ballot or do we want to move it to the floor? Let's start with that.
I don't think we're ready to put it on the secret ballot for the conversation tonight.
Okay. So,
Right?
Okay.
Right.
So we can work on it for 2 weeks from tonight. Because we'll have, am I right, Mary, we'll need to, in 2
Yes.
weeks, come up with.
Yeah.
Something that will be published.
Yeah,
Right.
that would be great.
so that's
Yeah,
what we
so
got,
this gives
that's
us 2
basically the
weeks to
limit.
maybe,
Yeah.
and then let us move on from there.
Right. So
Okay,
now
so-
we have articles, 3 through 8. For the secret ballot, and that's it. And then the election of the officers.
Four, wait.
Nine.
Nine.
Berlin zoning.
Yeah, because 3 is going on the floor.
Oh, that's right, we moved that to the floor too.
Are you gonna make a
So
motion?
I move that we move the current Article 10 to, floor at town meeting.
Second.
All those in favor? 1 absent. Okay, if I make a motion, we just table this one for now until we can work on it and we'll down the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we just do a motion to put those secret ballot warrant articles to public hearing.
Okay.
What's the first meeting in May?
The 5th, 6th, give me a sec. Is it the 5th? 5th,
Either then or
5th,
the
May 5.
April meeting,
That's the 21st.
I gotta contact people to be present for that public hearing.
So do you want May 5?
Let's go.
So-
Yeah.
May 5.
That's a motion?
What's the motion?
Hold public hearing on May.
Oh, okay, I move that we hold the public hearing on the secret ballot issues on May 5th. Before the select board.
Second.
All those in favor? 1 absent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bruce,
The budget committee had requested a second meeting on the 14th, and looking at the time, and you still have a agenda on the select board, I would like to make a recommendation that you guys do a remainder of the budget on that. It's really up to you.
I am not, I'm on vacation and I may not be able to zoom in. And I mean, zoom in, I can't vote anyway, because it's a vacation, not illness. So I will not be here in the 14th. I'm not available. I don't know about the rest of you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, should the budget committee vote with that request together?
Yeah, that last night.
No, last meeting we didn't talk about it. That was talked over email. So if this committee, if the budget committee wants,
That at the last meeting.
no, the last meeting was the last meeting, we closed it up. We never talk about
We
it
voted on
after
it.
that.
Yeah, we voted on it. It's
You voted on
it's in a minute.
all right, hold on. I don't have any records of that right now. You made the request right now in public, so. Let's figure out what we're gonna do first.
Here's my point, Dan, is that if that's a request, it should come from the committee, from the vote of the committee, there was no vote in the committee for that.
So are we
Say the budget's not.
On the previous meeting, that was a vote to do a meeting last time, but not last time. We'll do anything again.
You go for a few of them. Unless you wanna be here until midnight,
No,
you don't have to.
no, oh, no.
Find an end here somewhere.
Yeah,
I think we can watch it. 11, 12, 13, 14. And they have half rate and then our budget stuff.
All right. Well, then,
Yeah, I'm pulling up the remote participation, and it doesn't say that if you're on vacation, that you're not allowed to vote. It says that you have to provide 24 hours of notification. Illness, other physical condition, or temporary non-scheduled absence, allowable non-scheduled absences include last minute doctor's appointments, emergency work-related problems, vehicle breakdowns.
So she's doing vacation.
Special meetings or calls on vacation or scheduled work travel. So the board can allow, it says absence is not allowed to include vacations scheduled during normal board and committee meetings, but that the board is allowed to change that. The board can override that.
Didn't we do that once, Mel? We scheduled a meeting. It wasn't a regular meeting. It was an extra meeting and someone had to be away, and so they were allowed to vote
Yeah, I remember-
because it wasn't a scheduled meeting.
So it isn't.
I think we did that. previously.
Vacation as long as, if you're willing to do that, and they're not too cocky on that.
It's a question of whether we even have that. So I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
Sorry.
I will try, but I don't know. Okay,
Question is,
so who's that? Can we?
Can we do it through 14?
right, we can,
Well,
we can go through 14 tonight,
Now we're trying to decide if we're gonna have another.
but we're still gonna decide whether or not doing so Monday, finish that out.
Where we have public safety here, I mean, can we hop around and get, for the people that have been sitting here waiting, do public safety and recreation, and is there any other committee tabs here?
No, but we,
So they don't have to come again? I don't know if we're allowed to do that, but.
We can,
We can do whatever we want.
yeah, we can,
If
we
so, I would-
can
I
jump
would
around,
expect-
as long as there's no changes. As long as there's no changes that need to be made, gone back to them.
Yeah.
So,
we do have a committee appointee here that's been waiting, Sharon,
Yeah.
sitting up back there.
yeah.
You wanna just appoint her?
Unless you come on, unless we come on this side meeting or something else.
Okay.
No problem. So. All right, as far as another meeting.
I will do my best, but I can't promise.
March 14th.
Let's. May before.
Sorry, April.
Are you available?
I am.
Barbara, you are? And Dan is,
Yeah, it's just a Tuesday, so.
and I don't know about Michael. Oh, yeah. Michael, are you available on the 14th?
Yes, I'm available on the 14th.
Or at least we got, minimum, we have 4.
Yeah, so you have 4, and I'll do my best,
All
but
right. We'll set that for now. Anything we don't get done tonight, we'll. Do on the 14th. All right, so let's do 11, 12, 13, 14, and then if we've got the other two. That we don't have to make any changes on, we can,
should we,
do 11, 12, 13, 14.
Well, or maybe we should, maybe those are pretty easy, maybe we should.
You have the library here, so to the people who are here.
Okay, doesn't matter then, whatever you guys want to do. So, which one's the next one in order?
So, it's what, are we, there's different law.
Public safety.
Yeah,
oh,
we-
you're gonna slow.
Do public safety.
Hey, Article 18. Article 18,
Again, Dan, another night.
Article 18,
Okay.
Article 18.
all right, Article 18, see if the town will appropriate. $73,220.08 in non-tax revenue and raise and appropriate from taxation. $708,923.20 for public safety for a total of. $782,144. With any unexpended balance. In the fire and rescue department's budget lapsing into the fire and rescue capital. Fire and rescue equipment reserve. Do we want to read all of these numbers down through?
Can you read the printed?
Okay, so
I don't know.
as numbers as printed. I'm just the total, first line is. $782,144. The lower. Line is $73,220.80. Funding from property taxes is $708,923.10. Discussion and now. You have any?
Mr. Chair, I have 2 questions.
Right.
The 2025 actual is not mapped what is in the budget, the April 7th. Budget. So the actual in this article says the 2025 says 617,804.88. In the budget that we were in tonight, it's 617,975.88. So this is a discrepancy.
What number is wrong?
Page.
I don't know which one is wrong.
This one right
Oh,
here.
Page 21.
So let's just.
No, it's the.
Health officer is 691 and then over here. General control. Both 96281. And then educate, so that was in control. Street lighting is 045. 51, that's right.
It's the 25.
Dispatch is 66,185.
The number on the warrant,
Yeah.
different from what's on page
And
21.
then 534, 47182.
Thank you.
So
I think that's it.
this must not be adding properly because these numbers all match that.
Because I had March 26th.
All the numbers match.
Is the additions of the column.
I bet the addition on the column is wrong.
My gosh.
Having fun.
Which one?
The one in the book. The binder.
So, right. So it's the warrant is So those numbers are correct.
All right,
So did we figure out?
The number on the warrant is correct. We just added that.
How the number in trio. work. Is that automatic?
someone must be.
I'm sorry, but the one article that's posted on our website actually has the 2025 action with a 750 and 104.
Is it the updated?
It's the most current one that's updated on the town's website.
Is it got the draft? So that if you go to tonight's where the select board packet is, this warrant is there separate with that agenda.
I would just, Trio is supposed to automatically add all this stuff up, so I would just double check everything. It doesn't make sense to me that the warrant's right, but Trio is wrong. Trio's like a cell, it automatically happens. I have another question if I may.
Go ahead.
And it's related to the street names, so, some of us questioned the increase from 2,400 to 5,000 on the street lighting, and if memory serves me, what we were told is that's with the addition of the lighting in the parking lot. But tonight we heard that the parking lot lights cost $500.
It was the village.
I was gonna say, I believe it's the one that we kept all down.
The village.
I thought I heard Kathy say that that was turned over to the town this past.
It was at some point.
So the 2025 actuals then do not reflect the lighting on Main Street.
Right, we added that on the 6-month budget, Anthony. It was new.
Okay.
Sarah, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I hope that next year the budget committee gets training on Trio because people are bringing arguments here that half of us, or actually majority of the budget committee cannot relate to. I'm not trained in Trio. So all this meshing them back from Trio should do this and the administration is providing that and creating all this non-compatible information. It's hard to figure it out what is right, what is wrong. It's very confusing to say the least. So I don't know, we have to go with a final report here in draft, or we have to compare everything with Trio, and then make this meeting last 3 times longer, 4 times longer.
Well, if it's wrong in Trio, it's because something was entered incorrect in Trio. Computer doesn't make a mistake when it adds the numbers together. What means the number is different, input it differently. It's the only way it can be. If these numbers are right. Bruce?
And the auditor goes by Trio. The auditor uses a Trio to audit our books, so we have to do our budgeting by Trio, my understanding.
So we usually use the numbers that are.
For this purpose, Trio is nothing more than a fancy spreadsheet.
Right.
Right.
That's all it is.
You know what it is.
So which numbers are we using?
The number in the.
This is correct.
The number in the warrant article is correct.
Something needs to go back and.
Make an adjustment in
Fix
the
those.
spreadsheet.
Yeah. So we're using the ones printed as draft.
This one. All right. Anything else on these numbers? Bruce?
No, I got nothing else for the numbers, no.
All right. Well, we're all set, looking for, select board recommendation, those in favor? 4-4, 1 absent.
Budget committee in favor?
Continue about the numbers.
Okay.
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. So 5-4, 1 abstain.
Next one says library, we have library.
No, library's not here.
Where's
Parks and Rec.
Can I just comment on that one?
Article 24.
Well, there is a difference.
So there's a difference in the actuals, it's the same thing, in what's printed in the draft, but it sounds like the draft is the correct number. So there's a difference of, from what the budget says, which is 300,078.71. In the 2025 actuals, it's 301,193.04, so a difference of 1114.
So, Article 24. To see if the town will appropriate $152,500 from anticipated revenue, recreation revenue, raise and appropriate from taxation, $204,204 for recreation services. Numbers as presented in this with a total $356,704. First line, funding from non-property tax sources, $152,500. $152,500 from property taxes, $204,204. Discussion.
The concept of serious donations, are those? Estimates, or do you have commitments on those, or?
We tried to meet somewhere in the middle based on what we took in last year.
Okay.
Not knowing if we would take in the same amount or a little less. And so at the recommendation of the budget committee, we added in what we thought was fair and achievable.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
You still have the same issue with the actuals.
Sounds like. You get those specs and get some sheet that matches.
60
numbers.
And also, I'm still trying to compare here, but the total grew by $3,000 from our March 27th.
I think that was the earned paid leave added in, 3,000. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Are we guessing at that or do we?
No, we know, we added in earned paid leave, 3,000.
What line item?
It's under the wages and benefits.
Oh, I think there was no earned paid leave in the prior iteration of the budget.
Correct. I just double checked the numbers against what was in the spreadsheet. Although the total is different at the bottom, the total, let me add these, the numbers do match.
So just for sort of future reference, I mean, as a budget committee member, what I like to do is compare one iteration to the next. And if there are changes, it's helpful if those are actually brought to our attention so that we understand where the change is and why, as opposed to going, oh, this budget grew by $3,000. I wonder what that was.
Yeah, is there any way in Brio when you do these spreadsheets, when you change enough, like to highlight that particular box? Or make it older or something?
Yes, so not necessarily in Trio, Dan, but this is a PDF. And so once you print out the PDF, then you can highlight.
So the number on your warrant is correct, the balance. The numbers are correct and the calculation is correct. Right? Did you just add it?
Yeah, I see that.
Same thing. Yeah.
So I'm new to this. I have just an overall in general question. The newest iteration of the budget was just handed out when it came in tonight. I didn't see it before. And I'm wondering, is the process always like this? When we're coming in for a vote on final warrants, we're talking about how numbers have changed since the last budget. It seems the process seems difficult. It's very difficult. I have to agree with Julian. It's very difficult to reconcile some of these numbers because I've looked at so many. And for example, if something's up by 3,000 and I have to go home and go through last year's, the last iteration and compare it to this year, if you find the 3,000, you always do it like this every year? That's my question. It's a really difficult process. Does anybody know whether this is how it goes every year?
Oh, this is the first year that it's like this.
Oh, thank you.
And at,
I don't know, I've been doing this for almost 20 years and it's always.
and I'll take complete ownership of the warrant because I read in the minutes that the budget committee wanted all of the warrant articles written as they were 2 years ago. So that was what I did over the weekend. And so some of these numbers may not, they are adding up as they should. I don't know why they don't match
Actually, the warrant's
book,
correct.
but
It's the spreadsheet.
yeah.
But the concern is the budget has changed from March 27th to April 3rd to April 7th. So every time we gather and get a thing, it's different. And then to Kathy's point, they're left figuring out on the fly what changed. As opposed to it having said, you know, something sent out that says, hey, this number changed, here's one. Okay.
I think we did send out earned paid leave.
I'm not sure.
I think we did send out a notice about that.
I think there was definitely some notification on the last week. There was definitely a notification.
I think rather than, well, I think that throughout the process, of the last 5 weeks, there have been a lot of emails, a lot of changes that have been requested and suggested, and I think it's been challenging for everybody to keep up with that. So I would like to see maybe, you know, I would agree that maybe we could have a more streamlined process.
It's got to be cleaner on the front.
But this is what we have for now, so let's try to make this work.
Well, I think in defense of the budget committee's request from the last meeting, that was requested for the 6-month plan, that nobody wanted to see it. That it was confusing, and at the time we were told it was gonna go back to the format that it was before, but then it didn't go back. So then the budget committee made that request. So.
It is.
Back to
We
these
have.
numbers. Numbers are correct. Do we have any questions on these numbers the way they are right now? No? All right. So, select board recommendations, all those four. Four. Okay.
Budget committee, all 4? 6-4.
That's all we have for departments here right now, correct?
Yes.
Go back to those other quick ones, get those done. Back to Article 11. To see if the town will authorize pursuant to 36 MRSA section 506, the tax collector to accept prepayments of property taxes prior to the delivery of the tax commitment to the tax collector by the assessors without payment of interest. Discussion.
This is a question that relates to both articles 11 and 12. We do these every year. Does it make any good sense just to make those perpetuity articles? I legally, I don't know if that can be done, but.
Didn't we just have something that
No,
we just
no.
stop doing some of
We
these?
received something from legal saying that we needed to have those articles
Okay.
every single year.
Okay.
All right, so if there's no other questions.
I would just, I think that if we put in some commas, it just seems like it's a big mouthful. If the town will authorize comma pursuant to 36 MRSA blah blah. Section 506 comma. Right. The tax collector to accept prepayment, then that just, to me, makes it a little more clear.
I added them.
And that's fine. What we ought to do is just go through and proof them for grammar or punctuation and stuff after, as long as the wording doesn't change. So, select board recommendations, all those in favor? 4, 1 absent. Article 12, shall the town vote to authorize the board of select persons or their designee to negotiate and enter into multi-year contracts on behalf of the town and to extend existing contracts found to be in the best interest of the town of Belgrade. On that one. Discussion, recommendation of select board, all those in favor? 4, 1 absent. Article 13, shall the town fix the dates the property taxes shall be due as October 2, 2026 and April 2nd, April 2, 2027, and establish a delinquency rate of 6.2% on taxes paid after those payment due dates.
I'm just curious how we arrived at 6.2.
That's what we did at the January town meeting. They came up with 6.2%.
There was.
So the state allows a max of 7 this year. And I know there was an ugly discussion on the floor of town meeting back in January. I think a compelling argument for putting it at the maximum is the information that we received recently about how much is due in delinquent taxes for the last 3 years. It was not an insignificant amount of money. And so setting it at the maximum incentivizes people to pay on time so that those of us who do pay on time aren't shouldering the financial burden for those who are not.
I don't know that the difference for people who are juggling their investments like that, I don't know that the difference between 6.2 and 7 is going to make a difference, but it did really seem to make a difference to people on the floor of town meeting.
Well, I mean, and pardon me if this sounds critical, but I just don't think it was explained very well to people during that meeting. I went back and watched it, and I think that argument has to be made that if you have no shame and you don't mind your name being in the book, And you can, and you're a savvy investor, then you can potentially earn more by not paying your taxes on that money than the interest that you would have to pay for paying it late. And so it's simply a matter of fairness for people who do pay their taxes on time, not to be shouldering the financial burden for those who do not.
Melanie, you had your hand up.
Yeah, well, I thought a lot of the discussion at the January town meeting as well was, you have to remember the next article. Where what we were asking the citizens for, who were late on their taxes was less than what our percentage was gonna be on the flip side. And I think they were pretty clear about they wanted it to be even in and out. So we've got to adjust Article 14. Or it's probably gonna, well, they can't go up on the.
Well, if memory serves me, you can't do any.
Within 3%.
Right.
You gotta be within 3.
So if you said it's 7, then you're still at 4, which is the Article 14 says right now.
Right, but on the floor town meeting, it was, well, how come we have to pay more if somebody's gonna lose us than the town has to pay if somebody has to pay? So they were looking for an even in, even out,
Not gonna happen.
so.
Well, change, peace along.
Well, they can't increase that amount on floor town meeting, so it's actually the flip side. I mean, good for them.
You want to just go ahead, Carol?
Yeah, I just, from sitting at the last town meeting, it was the perception, and we had people there that were really, really grumpy. And I think we should listen to the sentiment in that room. And if we move it back up to 7 again, like, well, didn't they even listen to us? But the overriding sentiment that I felt in that meeting was that we should be doing a 6.2. So that's what I'm in favor of, and it's a response to what the atmosphere in that room was. So.
I wanted to reiterate that because as a way, I remember it happening on the floor. There was a lot of tension on the floor because of that song. And the from 7 to 6.2, in my mind, it's not those not like anything, those not move a needle any which way, but people were just, I don't know, was that number just.
But we're gonna leave that the same. Anything else? Select board recommendations, all those in favor? 4 for 1 absent. Article 40 is moved. The town will vote pursuant to 36 MRSA, subsection 506A, to set an interest rate of 4% to be paid on overpaid or abated taxes using funds in the overlay. Questions, select board recommendation, all those in favor? 4 for 1 absent.
Say the rest.
I do have one quick question there on Article 11. It says section 506, but this other one we just did says subsection 506-A.
Right.
Are those both?
I looked those
right?
up and they
Is-
are,
That's supposed to be written.
Yes.
right, they're accurate to the article.
Okay.
To give that
I want to make sure one of
authorization.
them wasn't supposed to be subsection also.
Yeah, that was a question at the time meeting too.
Consistency suggestion, I would just either use the symbol or write out sections, but not alternate between the two, so that it doesn't confuse people. In Article 11, you write MRSA section, the word, but then the other one you pointed out, Dan,
The
you
Anderson,
use the section symbol.
Okay, so the rest of it, we're gonna bring back on the 14th. For the rest of those numbers. All right,
Yeah, and I have minutes.
okay. All right. So, let's move on. Lost my agenda.
I move that we table the letter of agreement until the next one.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? So, new business, committee appointments and resignations.
Yeah, here. Is that Sharon?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so the appointment,
Sharon is here.
okay.
I move that we move Sharon to the top of this.
All right.
You get
Lakes and Natural Resource Committee.
I move that we approve Sharon Jeff as a member of the Lakes and Natural Resources.
All right, Sharon, do you wanna speak to why you wanna do it a little bit and introduce yourself and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I am a member of the BLA and actually vice president this year, in a couple of years, and so, we have a representative from the BLA that, works with natural resources, so I was asked if I was volunteer to be that person from the BLA to join Lakes and Natural Resources committees. And so that's why I'm doing that, so I can share what we learned in the BLA and work with the Lakes group to understand the projects that they're trying to work on.
Any other questions, comments? No, all those in favor? 4, 1 absent.
And we probably should notate that she is the BLA member, not a large member. And she told us that, but that in our minutes.
Yeah.
Because she's taking that BLA required spot.
And you're just gonna swing in at some point when the town office is open for.
Just sworn in. And then Penny for ballot clerk.
I move that we
need to notify him.
Huh?
Do we need to appoint her? Or just, do we want to officially appoint her? Penny? Yes, ballot clerk.
She got left off my list,
Yes.
but I submitted, yeah, so sorry.
I move that we approve Penny Morel as a ballot clerk.
Second.
Good. And been doing that stuff for years, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know why she wants to do it. All those in favor? 4, 1 absent. Lindsay, is she there? Online?
Lindsay Dunningham.
She's online. Isn't she on?
No.
Oh, she's not?
No.
I thought I saw her earlier.
Oh no.
Yeah. Was a long meeting.
Tucker, we're
I'll see you
sorry.
Thursday night at that meeting.
Apologize for us.
Yeah, and the next meeting we'll put her on.
Okay, move that.
What's the problem?
Move that we table Lindsay Dunnigan's application until appointment until she is available to attend.
Second.
All those in favor? 4, 1 absent. Okay. Lakes and Natural Resources Committee bylaw updates.
I'm gonna move the library first. Anybody?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can do the library since there's no. So we'll do the library gift, library lease agreement.
So, Friends of the Library would like to donate the building and grounds located at 124 Depot Road to the town. The Friends of the Library will still pay the expenses for the library. There's a list attached in your packet. In order to do due diligence, a recommendation to move this to November seems appropriate. Phil has reviewed the information provided. He said, I've had a chance to review the proposal from the Friends of the Belgrade Library, and it appears to be a proposal at this point that will ultimately need to be accepted by town meeting as a conditional gift or gift in trust. There is some due diligence that the town will need to do prior to actually accepting the land and funds, such as to ensure there is good title to the land and whether there are any current restrictions on the endowment that would affect the conditions in the event the library ever closed down. And then there will need to be the various real estate and transfer documents developed. But otherwise, it is a decision for the select board and then the town meeting on whether to move forward with this donation. And after a review of the donation and the friends paying the bills, he said, yes, I do think the warrant article could be written in a way to authorize the select board to accept the library land and buildings on terms acceptable to the select board. The town will likely want some level of title review prior to accepting the deed. So originally they were going to not only gift the buildings, land, but also the endowment. And then they decided that they would not do that. They would gift just the buildings and land, and they would keep the endowment, but pay all of the bills. And they provided that list of bills for you.
So what's the amount of your endowment?
I just looked 424,000.
How much?
424,000 something like that.
What that?
It's been very good.
It's been good, it's going. So if we pay the bills, so if we pay the bills to the town like we have been doing, we're gonna keep the endowment fund going. And then if we do have to, or the town decides after they've got the building and, the property, if they wanna sell it, because they don't wanna buy it anymore, then they have a certain people that they're gonna be donating the money to it, some, organizations in the town of Belgrade. They're nonprofits, so 3 of them, that the money should go to, and it would come out of the endowment fund. Or if something happens to us, we're getting older, we can't seem to find anybody to come in and run the board. Then if we decide then we won't do whatever we do, then we will turn the endowment over to the town, our endowment, and they'll use that specifically for the expenses of the library.
We're paying possibly $12,000 a year.
Yeah, $12,000 a year.
I'm sorry, how much a year?
$12,000 a year. Expenses.
So the interest on the endowment will pay the annual costs.
Yeah.
So.
But you're keeping control of the
Yes,
endowment.
at the moment,
At the moment, I'm still paying the bill.
Right, I mean, we have to have legal documents that will determine what was suggested is that an article be crafted similar to Article 24 in January's, which authorized the select persons to accept the gift after doing the due diligence that the lawyer suggested. But instead of writing something so that it could be voted on, so that you guys would be authorized to even talk about it. Because we can't really get the lawyer, the town lawyer involved until the select persons have authorization to go to him.
Until the town passes it.
And then it would probably be, you'd also want to know who's responsible for legal fees to do all of these things. Is it the town or is it the library, right?
That would have to be worked out,
But it will be worked out
After
after all
this
the
is
legal work
passed.
for us. And we pay for it all, so you guys have to read all the legal work.
Is that the warrant or the other profit you were?
Thank you. You know, if you decide you want it, then you can go to the town will, be voting, if they decide they want the building property. Then you will get the lawyer, myself, to write up the legal work and bring it to the town, so they have everything legal to be able to pass.
So is this sort of the first step in you turning it over
Well, if the town votes on it, yes.
Yeah, if the town accepts it.
If they accept it, then we go from there.
So would you anticipate in, I'm picking a number, 2 years, you would have it turned over and you'd be out again
In a year, but.
in a year?
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, that's what I was trying
Because
to
they
say.
just gotta do the title, the deed.
Right.
Once the title is done, and we know it's clear, that's completely clear when we bought it.
Yeah.
Right.
15 years ago.
Yep.
So,
It's just-
and we just.
2009,
Yeah.
Yeah, I did go online and trace the property back to 1953.
Yeah.
February 10th, 1953, so I don't know how you go back further than that, but they probably will want that.
Oh, yeah, they go back.
Go back over there.
Centuries.
Well, it was all in Emmy Hanson's, they owned it,
You know, we go,
Yeah, and the hammer,
so they,
and then they sold
sold it to us,
the sons.
the son, yeah.
the sons of
Very
it.
sons.
Yeah.
So I have a question about, I mean, this is very generous, this is, fabulous. For the town. I have a question about the logistics of the town owning the building and the Friends paying the expenses. Because what if the town feels that there's some expense that's necessary, but the Friends don't? I mean, how do we, the roof collapses, or, I don't know, so, that just seems a little.
So that's
wrong
something
for me.
that we would have to work out. If we are allowed to move forward, collectively, then we would have to work out something, some language that, some agreement that we have with you guys, yeah.
Because I would hate for there to be bad feelings, because
Oh, no.
there's,
Right.
there's maintenance that
Yeah, oh,
needs to
yeah,
be
yeah,
done, or,
we acknowledge that.
whatever.
The septic might have to be replaced at some point in the future, all kinds of things.
Yeah, you never know.
It's got a metal roof, it's got, redid the whole thing like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, the issue I have with this, and I'm gonna tell you right now up front that if they wanna give the town the building, but don't wanna do the endowment, it's basically doing just the opposite of what they're doing with the parking lot down there and turning over the money to maintain that. I think it either has to be all of it, or they keep the building and keep going the way we are. Because I think the money needs to be it should be turned over to the town also if they want to do the building. We put it into with the Bar Harbor Bank and Trust, set it up just like perpetual care. So that the money, the interest from the money gets used to pay the bills. And that's all it can ever be touched for, it's set up that way.
We didn't want to do that until we got all the paperwork set this up, and, with the title and the deed done up, and once that's done, then we can turn everything over. But right until that gets done, we want to continue paying the bills like we do now.
But the way this is written, it makes it sound like
That's not.
it's,
But you guys decide you don't want to do it.
No. Linda Bain still wants to run the book sale, she still wants to do that, and that would bring in money for the library too. So that money would go into the endowment, what money she's making.
Right.
But she's gotta be a 501c3, so she's gotta be under the Friends of the Belgrade called the 5.
the town, but you can have, the town can take contributions as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about donations for the rec department.
Yeah.
The town can take charitable donations.
Right, but those are two somewhat separate things.
Yeah.
Because the 501c3 can still exist even after the library gets turned over, and even if we did turn over the endowment.
Yeah.
Bruce,
Yeah, but we have to pay so much a year for that.
Yeah.
We do.
Bruce, go.
So basically, you put it, it's like the cemetery portfolio. That's what, we put it in that portfolio, the interest.
Yeah.
So if you have donations, if you guys are still gonna be raising donations, it still goes into that portfolio. You just I think the article's gonna read, I mean, you have to check with the attorney, but I think the article would have to read that any donations from the Friends goes into endowment, can go in at any time, so it doesn't have to go to vote, or the board doesn't have to approve it, it just automatically goes in, and you guys have.
Only can be used for.
Pay for the books to be moved, we have other expenses, like associated with just running the book sale, that we don't wanna come to the town and get money out of our endowment, wise our endowment to do that. So, we will maintain a checking account separately. So to cover it.
Then maintain your checking account with X number of dollars and then turn the rest over to the town.
Yeah.
So that you keep this much, and then when you do your book sale or whatever, you can turn over whatever you want from that process, but you keep enough to maintain what you
What
get.
Mike Phillips would figure out, have it all set up.
Yeah.
I think you could recraft this that would show,
Well,
show that, so that,
do you have suggested language?
huh?
I mean, we wanna make sure that this gets into this warrant, so.
But it can go on the floor, right?
Yeah, we can.
So we, gives us another, gives us a couple weeks to craft it in such a way that, because I.
Yeah.
I think when I first heard about it, I was told.
I'll send it
well, they
over
want
to
keep all the
MMA.
money, keep control of the money.
You can send
but
it
they
to
want us
MMA.
in the building, and I'm like. Doesn't sound
Or
right.
Phil's quick.
And someone else's perception of what's happening, so if your intent is that. You're gonna turn the whole thing over with the endowment, once you get all your ducks in order. That's a different piece to me, if that makes sense. Just crafting the article
Dan,
to say.
I can
you know,
send that
the
over to
endowment
Phil.
would
He
be
can put something together.
A minimum of 400,000, I'm just picking that number, he's got what, 424, for a minimum of 415,000 will come with it. And you keep the other piece in your checking account for your everyday expenses and so on.
Or if the expenses are all related to the book sale, couldn't that be folded into?
Well, we
I
need.
mean, why wouldn't the town be able to pay those expenses?
I
Because
say just let them keep a portion and keep their dollars off of. To do what they wanna do with it, you know, with raise money or do what, maybe they wanna raise money for something else.
The endowment and checking account are two separate things.
Yeah.
The endowment was what we originally talked about going to the town, and there was some kerfuffle.
Because you're not blowing yourselves up.
No, okay,
No,
no, I mean, it's been a long-term goal.
Right.
To raise enough money so that we could donate the library building and the money
To
to
maintain.
keep it going in perpetuity,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Right.
And that's what the endowment was set up for.
I
Now
think
it's
this
not
just needs to
officially.
be reworked a little.
Yeah, first.
So one of the lines you may wanna put in it to go in for the endowment monies, you know, whatever amount you guys come up with. To go into the, I don't know if you wanna say by harbor, but
Yeah,
into,
whatever that.
But you don't
Yeah,
want to.
you don't wanna specify it actually.
For her.
right, to go into the trust.
Right, it's a trust, you're setting up a trust.
Right, that trust, and the interest, and how that works is up to, you wanna use 90% of the interest to offset.
Right.
Same,
So
same,
there's a
the same,
restriction
yeah, the same as what we do with
Yeah.
the cemetery.
Yeah, cemetery and.
Right.
Capital.
And then you still may have people who. Make donations to the library in memory of or in honor of, so you still have that money that would be coming to you.
Yeah.
And then you could just, that would need to flow into the.
Well, not only that, we could also set up. As part of this article, that any donations that come directly to the town for the library. Get
will
put
flow
into that,
it.
so.
Yeah.
We haven't touched.
Well, should there be a trust document? Which is why it's more.
Yeah.
Yes, like other.
Many people talking at the same time, I can't hear.
You can only follow one conversation.
I'm gonna get going.
Okay.
I, 50% of money is just giving you it's great. I would be careful about restricting what's right from any donations that come into the library and has to go to the trust. Just because, say, when I fundraise, put a patio behind the library. You know, it's just making sure that we have to.
So we just need to rework it.
Maybe
Yeah.
we're.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright, well, like I said, have your group come up with some numbers that they wanted to put, money and stuff. Get them to Warner. We'll send the article to our lawyer that writes the articles.
I'll send it over to Phil.
Yeah.
And then that gives us something to start with, so that we can get this done.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
So in a perfect world, we should have this ready for next meeting, right? So it can be published?
Yeah.
Mary, is that correct?
I'm sorry.
In a perfect world, this should be ready for us to vote on next meeting, so it can be published?
Yeah.
Can it go to me?
Probably it should go next Tuesday to because the budget committee is gonna be here and they may wanna weigh in on that.
Question of whether we'll get it ready by then. But it should,
If you can get it ready, we can send some of the stuff in the budget.
yeah.
As long as we're not raising and appropriating money. If that can't go there, then at least
Right.
it's money that's set aside that really the budget committee and us aren't gonna have a
I
lot.
think initially when it came, there were some contingencies with the gift, conditional issues. Now it sounds like that's changed.
Yeah.
So let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
To get this.
You all have just been such stewards on that yard.
I can.
Moved a lot of books.
Yeah.
Yeah, the law.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so I would like to.
It also says decent.
Yeah.
The lease, it's the regular dollar lease agreement. It's, the copies are in for your signatures.
So we just need to make a motion.
Make a motion, yep.
Renew the lease.
Make a motion that we renew the lease for the old library. in the town of-
Carol, can you second?
Yeah.
Okay, and vote.
All in favor?
Okay.
We're bring one the lease, all this get ironed out.
We have it, and I'll let you know, it'll be signed tonight, and then you can pick it up after. Yep, we have it. Yeah, we have it. All set.
Okay.
Okay, we still have to do warrants and we still need an executive session.
Yeah.
So I would like to suggest that we table the Lakes and Natural Resources bylaws. We have to table this study request. I mean, this won't take long, but.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Thing is, though, you're gonna add to the next meeting, which we're doing, we're finishing up all the rest of the warrant articles too, so. The more you add, the more. you add.
But we're gonna do the warrant articles next week, and then you're gonna have a meeting after that. You're gonna have,
Okay.
so you.
Second.
Okay.
Second, okay.
All those in favor?
All in favor.
Table on the other.
Table Lakes and Natural Resources, table High Road. Speed study.
And how about the water agreement? Did we already? tabled?
You already did that,
Yeah.
already did that one.
I make a suggestion, Bill, or whoever the attorney is, had a number of points on the wire agreement. My suggestion is tell him to go ahead with what he thinks would be an aggressive version for your review. And any legal fees get charged to the saltwater reserve as appropriate, because any money you put to the attorney is probably saving hundreds of thousands.
Money well spent up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That sounds like a good plan to me.
Thank you, Tom.
You too.
Next time.
I threw my back out this morning. I've just been singing all day there.
Oh,
Just
no.
brutal. I might have to stand in a minute.
All right, cause stand, if you feel better, stand, oh my gosh,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Okay, warrants, is that what you're doing?
We have for other business.
Oh, that press release.
Oh.
Oh, the press release, here, I have a copy, I made copies.
Okay.
Cool.
While she's looking for that press release,
Right, just-
do you guys want me to email you the specific minutes of the last meeting?
They've got a copy,
If it's in there, we're all.
It's in there.
they have a copy. I put a copy in their packet,
Okay.
the minutes.
Yeah, it was in the. So.
I don't even know what did we think was not there?
Asking for the additional meeting.
Oh,
Meeting.
Oh, wait, who did I get the first one to? That has one. Oh, no. No, I had something else that I took. That's my strategy.
Just asked me to save it. Oh, but if you don't have one, I don't need to save it, so.
Yeah.
He just messed it.
Oh, he's not.
You check,
Oh, yeah.
you
Or
check
if
with
I
these
start
people
using the
because.
stuff I would say.
Are we gonna-
We could deal with
No.
it so long.
no, just
Just
web and
website.
Facebook.
If I can say.
Yeah.
This
We
is
are-
way
we-
too much to go. on
Yeah,
newspaper.
we wouldn't do that.
I mean, if it went to the newspaper, they would print the first 2 paragraphs, that's it.
Right. Oh, my God. Sorry, the,
So a lot of this is your statement, your report for the town report, right?
Yes.
So where would this go on the town website? Would it be like the
Um,
banner with a link? Or
could put it there, could also put it just on the select board page. The news and announcements, that news and announcements on the right-hand side and then Facebook.
You have a picture to go with it. I think we should send a picture with the announcement, with the press release.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know,
Yep.
and if not, you have to get someone with a camera.
I have a good one with me with the grandchildren,
Yeah.
Jameson and
I just think
Hadley.
it, you know, people see it in the paper or whatever, they see a picture, they look, they tend to, so we should, you know, do it as nicely as.
I would do one with your grandchildren, and that's great.
Yeah,
I'm good.
yeah,
I'm good with it.
okay. I move that we use the presented press release with a picture and send it to for release.
Okay. And so. Did I send you, do you have this by email or do I need to send this to you?
If you want to send it to me.
Okay,
I made the motion.
Yeah.
second.
All those in favor? Four.
Okay. All right. Now we have one.
No, at least I have more.
And one. And one.
Yeah, one of these weeks, I just want to say, would not spend any money.
Wouldn't that be great? Really?
$751,000.
That's my check for last month.
Bob the plumber.
Yeah, right.
All right, start off with warrant 32. That's it. $5,271. It is a repeat warrant. Any discussion? All those in favor? 4. Warrant number 33, $29,798.82.
Move to approve.
Second.
No discussion. All those in favor? 4. They will warrant. Warrant number 34. AP warrant, $1,877.40. Why is this
Exactly
different?
41 cents.
Like I said, yeah. Like I say, my list shows one, warrant says 41 cents.
Did I type it in wrong?
Move to approve. Second.
Yeah. Question? Favor? 4-4. Warrant number 35. Repayment of payroll warrants. $24,832.32.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor? 4-4. $36. Which is another AP warrant. $143.92.
Move to approve.
Second.
That must have been a refund.
Excise.
Yeah, excise tax.
All right, all those in favor? Yes. And number AP warrant number 37. $751,881.09.
Move to approve.
Second.
With regret. Such a big deal.
We'll go through it again.
It looks like you have some checks.
Bruce.
Yeah, it says he owes us $582.
Oh, come on.
Like,
All right.
Eight bills for Jennifer. Eight bills for Jennifer. Never asked him. Keith Alexander. You guys put a new generator on it and then had to pay the.
I didn't have anything on that.
I'm not seeing anything. I don't see anything. We all set?
Yep.
All right, all those in favor? 4-4. If she ran out, but what we'll do is do it the same way, motion the same way, so that she can just write it down. Warrant 38. $16,836.62.
Move to approve.
Second.
No question on that.
I like the last entry on the page, March dogs.
Are we marching dogs?
I guess we're marching dogs.
Okay, all those in favor? 4-4. One absent. And warrant 39. $25,073.
Come on, Barbara.
Move to approve. Sorry, I'm looking at the fine print in this. Deleted and bank uploads.
Any questions on about?
No.
All right, all those in favor? 4-4, one absent. All the ones that you missed were Barbara and Carol.
Carol, okay.
Have it down to a science.
Manager reports.
Before we get into that committee discussion, probably should have done it when everybody was still here, just banged my head, I don't know why. So on that quote for the, Field Green / packing lot. It was a total of 8,500, correct?
Yeah, that was annual.
Okay, so. As Cory was on the phone with Kristen, and she'll have to check with Cory Thursday on. Maybe, I know I hate saying they change, but make sure everybody gets emailed out it. Is maybe on the Village Green line, but facilities, increase that by $4,500, so he has enough money to do the whole. All the mulching, that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the difference in
Yeah.
that estimate has to go somewhere.
Right, so there's no green, so yeah. Line, and just, once you change that, just you don't mind sending it out to everybody, just verify it's Cory too, make sure, I don't wanna speak for Cory, but.
And that bid is right here. Still go back to you.
Sorry, I didn't bring that up when we were in the middle of budgeting.
I thought about it when we were talking about it, and then it just kind of got
Yeah,
pushed off with the.
So we continue to work through the application and supporting documentation process with the USDA for this CDS grant process. Paperwork has been signed with Camden for the town's portion of funding for the CDS grant with select board approval on March, I think that was March 16. Attended budget committee meeting March 23 and 24, the select board meeting March 31st, and Easter egg hunt MC April 4. Barbara, Mary Penny, and I met with HR consultant Betsy Olton April 2 to review sick and vacation time policies and general progress on the employee handbook. We meet again April 23. Betsy will be reviewing our entire handbook, which should speed up the process of getting a good final copy for the select board to review and consider. Betsy will be able to identify areas where updated language is needed. She owns her own HR consulting business. She's very good. This is what she does. So very knowledgeable.
And there are changes with the earned paid leave.
Oh my gosh.
So
I don't know.
complicated. I'm so glad
the
that we had that
state
meeting with her.
that is crazy. The Select Board and Budget Committee met March 24. The Select Board did not have a quorum. Both groups continued to work together in a workshop format. Papers for Select Board and School Board need to be turned in by this Friday. Absentee ballots will be available May 8. Town report articles are due this Friday, April 10. If you are interested, we need help. If you're interested in helping to review or proof the report before we send it off to the printer, please contact either Mary or myself. The annual candidate forum will take place on May 18 at 6 p.m. Once again, Regina Coppins has volunteered to put this together. Additional details will be announced as they become available. The county budget, I've listed two links here for the county budget information, and RSU 18 are both out. It looks like county is 1.4 for us, and we're up 200 and something on school. I was putting those together today. Our assessor agents have been out conducting field work this week. KB Cog has submitted a grant to DEP on our behalf for a new swap shed and concrete pad. Annual reviews are underway for all staff.
Good.
Ready for a motion to go to executive session?
Let's take a couple minute break.
Do you want this on or off?
Can you stand up against the wall? Does that help you?
Let's
Let's leave it on until we,
exit. Let's exit.
yeah, let's exit the.
Let's exit regular session.
Okay. I move that we exit regular session at 9:24.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay.
Okay.
We'll take a minute break. Shut that up. Down.
Huh?
I wanted to ask where you're heading.